Hello and welcome to Le Grand Chic Italia School of Fashion. My name is Maria Calauti. I am a master tailor, a pattern maker, and an instructor. I started drafting patterns and sewing very long time ago. I was about a teenager, maybe a couple or 3 years ago. Anyway, sewing and fitting the body is my passion. It really is very important for people, for especially women, to wear a well-fitting garment. It makes them feel better. It makes them look better. They're more confident. I see the difference. They walk more straight. I do a lot of alterations as well. So for today, we are going to be demystifying the curve within the crotch, how it relates to the body shape, especially the female shape, and how to make the adjustments to make that curve mimic the body that's going to be wearing the pants. Now I'd like you to take a minute and take a look at these pants here. This is the actual crotch curve of one of my clients. As you can see, it doesn't go straight. It can't possibly go straight, because if it goes straight, then at the front over here is going to be too far from the body and create that pouch that I was talking about earlier. That is very uncomfortable, first of all, and quite unsightly actually. So the crotch curve at the front is it's just a very soft curve, and it goes straight into, or diagonally, not straight, it goes right into the back, which has been scooped out to allow for the bottom of the butt. Now you notice this line over here is not straight. It could have been straight, but on her body, it just was not working right. It was gaping at the center back. So what that does at the back over here, if I were to have this just as a straight line, it would be like this. And that's the way the original pattern would have been as I had drafted it using her own measurements. But now, taking a look at the mock-up, actually I think I did this even before I looked at the mock-up. Taking a look at the mock-up, I can see how much I have to take it in at the center back, and that's pretty significant because that's like 4 centimeters. That would be 8 centimeters combined. Because don't forget, this is only half the back. So this is, yeah, exactly 4 centimeters. And I actually had to take it in over here. Now, to not lose any fabric, if necessary, you can let it out on this side here, on the outseam, only if necessary. But normally, that's just excess that just needs to be removed. What you're looking for in the outseam is for it to hang perpendicular to the floor. A good fitting pair of pants, or a pair of pants that fit properly, the outseam should be perpendicular to the floor, always. And the pockets should not gape. Now we opted for not pockets that are on a slant, because they always tend to have a tendency to open, unless of course there's pleats over here at the front, if you like pleats. She didn't like pleats, so I suggested that we do the pocket just straight across here. So that's the part that's missing here, is the inside part of the pocket. But that crotch curve is uniquely hers. And that's what I'm trying to get at, is to actually fit a body into this. You have to get this part here correct. If you don't, you don't stand a chance of them fitting properly. What I did was I added an outlet here to allow for the extra at the crotch, the extra space needed in between inside that negative space, and I feathered it down to the knee. Okay, So that is an outlet. That can be either added right onto the tissue, right onto the paper, or if you want, you can just chalk it right on the fabric when you are cutting, if you're brave. The other thing I did is I scooped out this back. By scooping out the back, that allows more room for the bum, allowing this to go up, that center back to go up on the waist. So then I added some further shaping. Now a back already has a dart. You need a dart for the bum. You need to have that space, but it may gape there. So there's absolutely no reason why you can't add some more shaping. So you could, however much is necessary, as I showed in my video, I had to remove 4 centimeters. So you can do that. So now this looks like kind of a wonky curve, doesn't it? But you know what? It fits beautifully, especially in here. There's no pulling. There's no pulling at the outseam. There's no pulling at all because you haven't touched any of the space that was necessary there for a good fit. So these are one, two, 3 adjustments that can be done right on the paper before you even cut. The next thing I did to the front, I added a little bit as well because I didn't want the inseam to be offset. Well, it will be off center, but too far to the front. So I added that and I joined this point to that point, and then what I did is I softened that front curve to be closer to the body. So that way there's no pouches. And I made it join here, and this became a little bit higher to join up. So the curve actually looks at the back like this. At the front it comes up and more shallow, and there is your inseam right there. So you're going to have a longer one there, there is your joint, and there is the scoop out at the bum, the closer to the body at the front, and more shaping at the waist. That eliminates a lot of gaping. Believe me, it works like a charm. So I hope that this is kind of clear, and this way it'll make even altering pants a lot easier because you'll know where to touch. Now this is the pants mock-up that I did for my client. I highlighted the seam, the crotch seam, so you can see what it looks like. So I highlighted it with chalk. Now you see, that doesn't look like it's straight across. And that's what I keep saying. The issue is if it was straight across, it would be somewhere down there. Now look at all the fabric that she would have had extra. So you really, really have to soften up this curve over here and take into account that if you want it to be, to fit the body, you have to stitch closer to the body. Okay, so think of it in terms of, I want to stitch closer to the body or further away from the body. So I thought I would show you the basic pant block, which is the front. That's where you always start from. What relates to today's class is this adjustment right there. I added just a little over 1 centimeter to the crotch point at the front. Flattened out this curve, not significantly, but just enough for her body. Plus, the inseam is now a little bit more straight as opposed to being curved. This gives her a little bit more room in the thighs, which for a pair of dress pants, she actually really needed. The pants hung perfectly on her. It was just absolutely incredible how there was not a single drag line or pull line or anything of the sort on the pants.